All right, so let's talk about hacks. So again, you can, one of the first hacks before we even get to this was I have my underpainting and I have my intermediate. If I have a little bit of white space, I can just simply turn off the background copy and kind of blend. But what's really important to get in the habit of is if you see if I pull the paint this way, stop, it will move. I'm actually moving and blending. Now if I push it this way, I'm getting a different result. So you can push and pull the paint and it's much more kind of organic than just sitting there dry on the canvas. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing I wanted to talk about is if you want to add a color that is not there. So if I want a blue, if I want a pink, whatever I want, because again, you're not tied to these photographically. Here's what you do. Make a new layer for it. In this case, I'm going to add some blue. New blank layer. You can make it by clicking this little icon right here. And I'm going to turn off Sample All Layers. And in here, I'm going to select a blue. Now, I'm going to lay it down with a dry brush. All right, so that's just laying down where I want that color. Then I can turn on Sample All Layers, change my brush back to something that's going to let me blend, and I can push and pull that color to make it look much more like it is not just sitting on top. Right? The brush, to make the brush bigger, you use the brackets. Okay, so I'm pushing and pulling. I may want to go get another brush. There are a couple of ways to view your brushes. You can view them, change the way that you view them using this little sprocket here. And you can say small thumbnail, large thumbnail, large list, small list, or stroke thumbnail. So this might also help, right? So let's pick this guy. And I'm going to just continue to move this blue around. Now, it's really pretty blue up and through here. So I can take the opacity of that layer down and then continue to blend it in with the brown. So I just want to add that color, but I don't want it to be dominant. Okay? You can bring the opacity of the layer back up, you can bring it down, but that's how you add colors that are not there. Okay? And it has to do with turning on and off the Sample All Layers and then applying it with the dry brush so it doesn't mix and then changing it. Okay? So that was the one thing I wanted to show you. The other thing is the opacity of the layers that you can change. You know, it's coming along pretty good. One of the things that I worked on yesterday and I'll probably work on today while you guys are in lab is just starting to push and pull the paint to define the shape. That's one way of doing it. But when I walked around yesterday, I saw you guys using German Expressionism, using French Impressionism. I saw you guys using every single type of art historical brushstroke, and that is so exciting. So you are not tied to making this look photographic. Because again, if I wanted a photograph, I'd simply turn off all my other layers and then I have a photograph, right? So that was the one thing I wanted to show you, the how to change your brushes. If you don't have this preview, because you can accidentally do that, View, Show, Brush Preview. Okay, so if that's ever not there, that's how you get it. You can also move it around. So are there any questions about the painting? Yes?
When we pick the sample on layers, now is that taking taking a sample from every single layer? I mean,
only the ones that are on.
Okay, so it has to be.
So if I hit Sample All Layers here, it doesn't see anything below it. If I turn this on, it sees something below it. So that's a good way to also control what you sample. Another thing, because you're painting, if you're doing this right, you are painting on blank layers. So if you make a mistake, this is your chance. You can be like, oh, you know what? Grab the eraser and just erase it.
Make sure it's the right layer.
You have to make sure it's the right layer. You will notice that that is the only time, like in the semester, we even go near the eraser, right? I hate the eraser. It's a destructive way of working. We are going to be working in a non-destructive manner. If you're on the wrong layer and you start painting on your background copy or erasing parts of it, that's gone. When you save this, it's gone.
Command Z.
You can Command Z it, or if you're aware of it, you catch yourself doing it, go back up in the history to where you didn't make a mistake, right? But be very conscious of what layer you're working on today. All right? Sound good? All right.